Every watch tells a story, and for presidents, those stories can reveal far more than the time. In this video, we uncover the legendary timepieces worn by America's leaders, from JFK's mysterious Bulova to Obama's iconic Jorg Gray. Because sometimes, a watch is never just a watch, it's a symbol, a statement, and sometimes a well-kept secret. Donald D.J.T. Trump has never been shy of flaunting his luxury watches. And based on the overwhelming evidence in the public domain, we can conclude that his choices are pure opulence. He's been seen sporting a yellow-gold Patek Philippe lips. This is more than just a luxurious watch, it is based on the principle of golden ratio. And that's not the only watch in President Trump's collection. He's also been spotted rocking a Rolex Day-Date, the first watch in history that could display both the date and the day of the week written out. He also owns a square-cased Vacheron Constantin, popular for being one of the thinnest timepieces globally. All these watches are crafted in solid gold. It goes without saying these aren't just luxury watches. They are strong statements of a president that values opulence and rarity on his wrist. While Trump's collection screams power and extravagance, the next story takes us in a very different direction. One where a single timepiece quietly accompanied its owner through the moments that changed the course of global history. Franklin D. Roosevelt's wrist carried more than a watch. It carried a piece of history. His choice was a Tiffany-signed Movado triple calendar in 14-karat gold, gifted to him on his birthday with an engraving that read, "With loyalty, respect, and affection, January 30, 1945. But here's where this story gets even more intriguing. This watch wasn't just a birthday gift that Franklin D. Roosevelt wore on normal occasions. Instead, he also wore it to events that would later determine the history of the entire world in the years that followed. These events included the Malta and Yalta conferences, where he met with Churchill and Stalin to shape the post-war world. Imagine the conversations, the handshakes and the decisions, all with that timepiece quietly ticking away on his wrist. The watch itself had an engraving from his staff, further adding a personal touch to a timepiece already steeped in significance. And the story doesn't end there. Tiffany later drew inspiration from this watch and raised the bar even higher. This was seen in the design of the modern CT60 calendar, allowing collectors today to wear a slice of presidential legacy. So what do you think? Can Franklin D. Roosevelt's triple calendar be considered a silent witness to the shaping of global history? From a timepiece that quietly witnessed the shaping of the post-war world, to watches that shout power, wealth, and dominance in every glint of gold, this next president's wrist tells a very different story. This is one you'll want to see for yourself. George W. Bush's watch choice might surprise you. Instead of a luxury Swiss timepiece, the 43rd President of the United States wore a straightforward Timex Indiglo, white dial, black numerals, leather straps, and a small American flag at the 12 o'clock mark. It was as basic as it gets. It was practical, dependable, and very much in line with a president known for his punctuality. The cost? A meager $43. Even more surprising is the fact that you can still pick up a gold-toned version of this very style from the George W. Bush Presidential Center for as little as $70. Considering he came from a powerful political dynasty and could have chosen any watch in the world, this choice feels deliberate. It wasn't about showing off. Rather, it was about sending a quiet message of humility and relatability. Makes you wonder, was the Timex Indiglo simply a timepiece or part of a bigger statement by the Junior Bush? And now, if you're enjoying uncovering the secrets hidden on these presidential wrists, hit that like and subscribe button because the next watches are equally surprising. John F. Kennedy's Bulova watch carries a story as fascinating as the man himself. It was gifted to him on Christmas Day in 1942 with the simple engraving, JFK 12/25/42. Somewhere along the way it slipped out of his possession, some say in a late-night poker game, and disappeared for decades. Amazingly, it resurfaced years later in a Boston pawn shop for just a few $100s before its true identity was confirmed. Now, this very watch just fetched a record $2.2 million. Not a bad price for a modest gold-plated Bulova. Now, the real kicker is that nobody really knows where that watch traveled during those missing years, or what chapters of history it might have quietly ticked through before returning to the spotlight. While Kennedy's Bulova vanished into mystery before resurfacing decades later, another president's watch would take a very different path, one that became inseparable from his public image. And this time, the story begins not in the White House, but in entirely different corridors of power. The immediate former president, Joe Biden, also makes it to the list of presidents spotted wearing unique watches. And to be fair, he seemed to have brought back the art of serious watch collecting to the Oval Office, and he did it with real style. One of his most notable choices was the Omega Speedmaster, famously nicknamed the Moon Watch, due to its close association with the Apollo missions. Even more surprising is the fact that Biden is the first sitting US president ever spotted wearing one. Then there's the Apple Watch, a far more modern choice. Characterized by its sleek, practical, and tech-driven style, the Apple Watch reflects Biden's ability to balance tradition with progress. With each watch, it's clear Biden's wristwear blends history, symbolism, and forward-thinking style. If Biden's Apple Watch caught you off guard, wait till you uncover the hidden logic behind why special forces wear their watches inside their wrists. And if you think smartwatches are harmless, our video on the alarming dangers of the Apple Watch will change your mind. Barack Obama's watch collection is almost like a timeline of his public life. To fairly capture his love for unique watches, we have to rewind time to his days in the Senate. The successor of George W. Bush was often seen wearing a dependable Tag Heuer Series 1500 two-tone diver. This watch comes across as a sturdy Swiss sport timepiece that could handle the grind of endless campaign stops and late-night strategy sessions. Then came a personal touch. For his 46th birthday, his Secret Service team gifted him a Jorg Gray 6500 chronograph, complete with their logo. The story goes that Barack Obama had expressed admiration toward a similar watch worn by an agent. It became part of his image, making appearances at milestone moments like his presidential nomination, his inauguration in 2008, and even his Nobel Peace Prize ceremony. Obama was also spotted wearing an affordable Shinola watch on different occasions. In fact, his love for the Detroit-built watch was so strong that in 2016, he decided to share it with someone across the Atlantic. That year, he presented UK Prime Minister David Cameron with a custom men's Shinola, complete with the seal of the President of the United States engraved on the back. From practical to sentimental, and from classic luxury to patriotic pride, every watch that President Obama has worn tells a little piece of his story. Which one do you think best captures the man behind the presidency? George H.W. Bush's ties to the world of intelligence ran deeper than most people actually realize, and his wrist often told that part of the story. In 1976, while serving as Director of Central Intelligence, he was known to wear two remarkable Patek Philippe watches, a pink gold perpetual calendar and a sophisticated 1968 Calatrava. The first piece featured a yellow gold case with a white dial and Roman numerals and black hands, attaining that exquisite blend of elegance and functionality. On its side, the 1968 Calatrava was a 35mm 18-karat yellow gold case watch. It was paired with a beige dial and full gold stick markers, giving off a classic and well-refined aesthetic. These were more than luxury accessories, they were pieces of history in motion. Decades later, both found their way to Christie's auction block, fetching $81,250 and $62,500 respectively. It's intriguing to imagine that the man who dealt in secrets and timing chose timepieces that seemed to mirror those very qualities. You have to wonder, what history-altering moments did these watches quietly witness while on the wrist of Senior Bush? From Roosevelt's Movado to Biden's space-inspired pick, every presidential watch carries more than just time. It carries meaning. US presidents wore watches as a symbol of power and status, but special forces wear them with a hidden, surprising logic. Watch our previous video to discover the mind-blowing reasons why they wear watches inside their wrists.